The point is that you want to create a character that you hope you're not, but deep down know that you actually are. Hey everybody, my name is Nick. I'm a director and editor living in Taiwan, and today I'm going to be talking about the Thai heist movie, Bad Genius. So this movie broke the record for international box office in Thailand. The film takes the heist movie style and transposes it onto the situation of kids cheating in high school. Lynn is a genius and she befriends the sociable but not too bright Grace. Lynn helps Grace cheat on one of her exams, and when Grace's rich boyfriend, Pat, hears about this, he convinces Lynn to start a bit of a cheating business at their school. This film is based on real incidents of cheating on the standardized test that happened actually in China. The movie tackles themes of inequality pretty well in a way that I noticed Thai directors seem to have a pretty good grasp on. I say that from my experience watching the Netflix series Girl from Nowhere, which featured many different Thai directors, but always seemed to kind of understand the themes of inequality, like the rich class versus the lower class. This dynamic was always done pretty poignantly in that show, and it's done very well again here. This movie shows how Pat and Grace, who are in the upper class, convince Lynn to compromise her morals, and they use money as the incentive for her to do that. They do it under this guise of being her friend, but what they don't understand, or maybe subconsciously do understand but don't acknowledge, is that Lynn is not their equal. Even though she has the skills that they need, she's the capable, competent one, she is still the one that works for them. And she's the one who works the hardest and should be the most successful, right? But she is the lower class. She's doing it for them. They have all the power. When people get in trouble and there's consequences, it happens to her, not to them. And we see that with another character that shows up later in the film named Bank, who is also a poor, smart kid who becomes part of this business, and he also gets taken advantage of and have bad consequences happen to him because he is the lower class. These rich kids, it appears in this film, don't have anything bad ever happen to them. I think beyond these themes, this film is an interesting one to study for filmmakers because the film itself is able to maintain tension and pace almost entirely through filmmaking techniques. It's the editing, it's the shot selection, it's the sound choices that make this movie exciting and fun to watch. And this is important to pay attention to because the situation and the script and kind of the plot points are actually fairly mundane. So you take, for example, the first time that Lynn decides to cheat for Grace. It's a really exciting scene. But all it is a student writing answers on an eraser for another student and giving her the eraser. And this is not like a groundbreaking strategy for cheating that's like, oh, so interesting that she figured this out. It's something many students have done. Maybe you've done it. But it's edited and shot so slickly, and there's tension when the music stops and starts, and the way that they use it, and everything swells in exactly the right place. So you really, really feel like you want to be along for this ride. It makes it seem cool and fun, and you're on the edge of your seat. So I would say, like, as a filmmaker, studying a scene like this and how they do it is a really cool thing if you want to make these kind of popcorn flick, poppy kind of movies that audiences, of course, will love and really carry you through. I also think that how mundane these heists are really adds to the charm of this movie. These are situations that perhaps you person that cheats often, may have found yourself in. It's not a fantastical Ocean's 11 heist where there's this huge complex plan, like they use a seismograph to like blow up the electricity on the block, or you like make a bunch of latex masks and pretend to be somebody or not. These plans are simple enough that a teenager could pull them off. And they're also flawed because a teenager came up with them. And so when they run into obstacles with their plan, it all makes sense. Like, there's no amazing switcheroo planned right from the start. What you see as the film goes on is like a person trying to desperately come up with solutions on the spot. And that adds to the tension because you feel like you could be in that situation. So this is not like this Ocean's 11 kind of thing where in the back of your mind you know that, oh, George Clooney is actually going to have a backup for his backup plan and then a backup for that plan, and actually the whole thing was just a double cross anyway. So, you know, you always know when you're watching those movies that they are in control. That's kind of like the point. I think that actually kind of makes it a little bit more bland. Like, there's an interesting theory that I was discussing with a friend about how Hollywood films always want to present you a Superman or a person that is the perfect hero that you wish you could be, that you aspire to be. And you know that you're not that person. So you want to be the person in the Hollywood movie, but you know that you're not. Whereas a lot of these films that are created outside of the Hollywood system, foreign films or smaller films, the point is that you want to create a character that you hope you're not, but deep down know that you actually are. And that's what this film does. As we watch the film, we don't want Lin and Bank to make the wrong choices. But deep down, we know that we would probably make the wrong choice, so they're probably going to too. And we also want Bank and Lin to succeed in their heist. But deep down, we know that we would probably screw it up. And spoiler, that's kind of what happens. I would say that there is something a little bit pre-code Hollywood about the ending of this film, where the message shifts a little from this kind of critique of the rich using the poor and the school system having this code of conduct that it makes for its students, but it itself doesn't adhere to, where it's this social critique. But then by the end of the film, the message kind of wraps up by just being about, oh, cheating is wrong, Lin is wrong, and she needs to do the right thing and be a good citizen in the end. So like the end of this is a little bit like in the 1930s film Scarface, where he gets killed at the end. We are explicitly saying to the censor board, like, okay, remember everyone, lying and cheating is wrong and bad, and Lin got in trouble because she did the wrong thing, but later she's going to do the right thing, and that's what you should do. And so it puts that at the end, but the whole rest of the film has this kind of like punk rock cool vibe, like, isn't it cool how she's sticking it to the man and she's cheating the system and she's so awesome, she's so badass because she's a genius and she can figure out how to cheat everyone. It reminds me of this 1930s film Scarface, where you have this gangster that Depression era audiences could relate to and revered as a hero, even though the message of the film was, oh, he's a bad guy. The audience is actually identified with this character. The subtext of the film was like, this guy's actually cool. And I think when we watch this, the subtext of this movie is a little bit that Lin is cool, that she is relatable. And I think a lot of students and teenagers who watch this film are gonna kind of relate to that punk rock side of it. Something that aids in that is that the actors in this film are charming as hell. They're really, really great. And they're great in that they make you feel like they're people you want to hang out with. And that is, I think, the key for casting any kind of teen movie or movie set in a high school like this one is. You have to have actors that have that star power that makes you, when you watch them, you just think like, oh, I like this person. Like Lin and Grace have these moments and they do these kind of just little things, little kind of facial things and little smiles where you just think like, man, these people are cool. I want to know them. I want to hang out with them. I want to be their friends. And it's interesting because it's not exactly good acting. It's not that they're bad actors, but the main thing that they have isn't acting skill. It's this charm. And I think this is the thing that is the most important for these kind of Hollywood popcorn blockbuster flicks, is that you need to have actors that have this charm. It's the Keanu Reeves, I want to be his friend thing. It's charm that makes you immediately want to watch them, want to root for them throughout the whole film. And they nailed that in this movie. The casting in this film is perfect. I would say that Bank and Pat are like the perfect foils, the kind of tough goody-goody guy in Bank that eventually breaks bad and becomes a bad guy. And then you have like the wimpy bad boy in Pat, who's like a little bit slarmy and sleazy and is revealed to be like kind of weak, even though he's super handsome and rich. And then you got Lin, who pulls off this look of this like nerdy girl that's like not that pretty, but actually she's super, super attractive. And then you have Grace, who is this charming, classically beautiful girl who you can tell is hiding a little bit of a sinister side. Like all of those things you can tell about their characters by looking at the people that they cast. So this is like a this is an achievement of casting. Interestingly, with the characters of Lin and Grace, there is a little bit of gay subtext in this film that I think is not overdone, but is kind of nicely and subtly slid into the movie. As we watch it, we kind of get the vibe that Lin wants to be with Grace. And they do that with these little smiles that pass between the two characters. Like the way that Grace engages with Lin, they keep this subtext of like, there's something else going on here. There's like a flirting element to their relationship that's pretty interesting. And I think that speaks to the acting of Grace. She's my favorite actress of the film, where she's able to pull off this kind of interesting, like, character that has this kind of romantic intention, or is manipulating this kind of romantic intention, this romantic feelings that are between the two of them. I've noticed a lot of people reviewing it picked up on that as well, so it's not just me that is picking up on this kind of subtext, romantic subtext between Lin and Grace. I would say there's a lot to love in this movie. It's a great watch if you want something light and fun for movie night. The pacing really moves. It's a 2-hour film, but it doesn't feel like it at all. And as a filmmaker, if you're interested in these kind of entertainment, fun movies, I think this is a great movie to check out and study. Some people compare it to Edgar Wright films a little bit, and it has that style. That's kind of this style, this like pop fun, like very, very stylized film, which is cool. If you like this film, or if you like heist films, I would definitely recommend a movie called American Animals, which is this half documentary, half drama that's very unique. It's about a real art heist that happened. So there's like these realistic elements, but they also dramatize it, and they do a lot of fun things with switching between documentary and real film. So that's a cool movie to watch. Another good heist movie that has similar vibes to this is the Godard film, A Band Apart, which is an old film, but it is more about form and filmmaking technique, just like this is, and the coolness of it is more the point than the actual heist, which is something that is like this. It's also a highly influential film to modern cinema. Godard in general is, so you should watch it if you are a film lover as well. If you like this, I would recommend checking that out. So let me know in the comments if there's any heist films that you love. If you like this movie, don't like this movie, let me know. Remember to like, share, subscribe, and see you on the next one.